Here's the thing. Um, we, if our best friend calls and we haven't heard from them in a while, or a favorite cousin calls, um, we see the phone, we open up with a smile, we look, and we're excited. Um, but when God is speaking to us, we're not as excited. I would suggest we're only excited when we needed something. When He's telling us to do something that we didn't want to do, then look. I would suggest that people hearing from God, He's the most important person, if you will. That He's the only one that matters, because He'll tell you who to be in relationship with. He'll tell you what job to take. So if there is ever a reason for understanding the prophetic, it is so that you can speak to the most important person, your Creator. And so recipients of those messages, if they're in relationship with God, they'll be in a better position to say, hey, you know what, that's something that God told me. Let me go ahead and put this added note to that. When you receive a word, it should be a confirmation. It shouldn't just be something that is, your mind may have a hard time accepting it, but in your spirit you feel, and it's something that belongs to you. This comes from spending time with God.
And that goes back to what you said in the beginning, that when we become born again, we all have the Spirit of God within us. So His Spirit in us should bear witness to what is coming out of the Spirit of God in the prophet or the prophetic person.
Absolutely.
Great. Now, there's so many things that we could say to our audience. There's so many keys. There's so many things. But if you can, one key or one simple thing that you could say to the audience and those that are watching the video, as it relates to the prophetic, what would that one thing be?
I would say this: if you're maturing and you want to operate in the prophetic, the best thing I can tell you, and if I had to say it in a single word, that word would be placement. By that I mean, watch where you're placed as it's relating to the prophetic. Perfect placement is when you're standing in the middle and there is a person in front of you that wants to hear from God, that has fasted, that has sought God for themselves, that their inability to receive, that they want to attach their faith with your faith. And then on the other side of you is a God that wants to speak to a person. That placement will cause you to be right more times than not. Because now it's not just you that wants to give a word. There's a God that wants to speak. There's a person crying out, and for whatever reason, maybe the person didn't hear it. Maybe God wanted to use you to give confirmation. But try to be in that place where you can have the word pushed out through you from God and pulled out from you from the person. And because in this thing we're not chefs, we're waiters, right? And so likewise in the prophetic, someone places an order, right, to the chef, and we just write it down and we say, God, this person wants to receive something from you. He cooks it and we just walk back, and that's the perfect situation. It really deals with a lot of errors that I often see. So try to find those people that really want to hear from God. Look, I'm not saying only speak to those people, but I'm just saying look for those situations. And in those situations where someone wants to hear from God and you feel that God wants to speak, let God use you. And don't be afraid. Go with boldness. You'll be right sometimes. You'll be wrong sometimes. But just do it for His glory, and you'll be in great shape.